Hello everyone, and welcome back to another GIS lecture video. And in this lecture video, I want to continue our discussion on latitude and longitude by delving into how we actually record these numbers. So if you remember back to our previous two discussions, when we talked about the properties of latitude and the properties of longitude, right, we said that they were angular measurements between some 0 point, the center of the Earth, and where you were standing. And that we recorded those with degrees denoted with a direction, either east or west for the prime meridian, and north or south with the equator for latitude. But now the question I have to ask you is, what if we don't go a full degree? So let me actually write that out, right? What if we are not at a whole degree? Right, so for reference, right, at the equator, 1 degree of longitude is equal to approximately 300,000 feet. Right, this is approximate. But you can see there's a lot of distance covered by 1 degree of longitude at the equator. Right, and so what if we didn't want, what if we were somewhere in between this? What if we were somewhere in between this 3,000 feet? What do we do? Well, there's two ways that we can do this. The first is with what's called decimal degrees. Right, and just as the name implies, right, it is a decimal number of a degree. Right. And so the way this works is we have the full part of the degree. Say we were 30 degrees west, so we'll put a west here. Right, but we were more than 30. We were somewhere between 30 and 31. What we would do is let's say we were a quarter of the way between 30 and 31. Right, that would be 30.25. That west is way too far. Degrees west. Let's go ahead and just quickly remove that. Right, so what this is saying, just like any decimal number is saying, right, is this is the whole degree, right? And then this piece over here, right, this decimal part here, this is the decimal part of the degree, right? And so what we're saying is we went 30 degrees to the west plus an additional 0.25 degrees west, right? So we can represent portions of a degree, right, going more than just 30, right? We're not going right from 30 to 31. We're going 30, and then we're going an additional 0.25 degrees, and then we're designating the direction with the west. Okay, so that's a common way of doing it. Another way you might often see is something called degrees, minutes, and seconds. And this one involves a little bit more explanation. But basically we have fractions of increasing specificity, right? And so if we were to go 3.25, if we were to go 30 degrees, right, so it would be 30 degrees, right? Minutes is going to be the next piece. So we would go some fraction of a degree measured in minutes. Let's say we went 25 minutes. And then we would go some fraction of a minute designated in seconds. So we would say 25 seconds. right? And so the way this would work, right, is this is the whole degree. This is 1, so this is degrees, right? This is minutes, and this is seconds, right? The idea being here that 1 minute, let me make this a different color, right? 1 minute is equal to 1/60th of a degree. Right? And 1 second, right, is equal to 1/60th of a minute. Or 1/3600th of a degree. Okay? So, this sort of fractional based approach is one way. The decimal based approach is another. Most often, a lot of computer programs use the decimal approach because it's easier to run computations than it is to do the math. And so oftentimes what you'll end up doing is you'll end up seeing something displayed this way, but internally is being handled this way, and understanding how to convert between the two is going to be important. So what we're going to do in the next video is go through an example and an explanation of how to convert back and forth between decimal degrees, where you have the whole degree and then the portion of the degree that you traveled, and decimal degrees, where you have the whole degree, some fraction in minutes of that degree, and then some fraction of minutes measured in seconds. So hopefully that makes sense. And as always, if you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you.